Hi, Catherine here. I'm with Tandava Tribal Belly Dance in St. Louis, Missouri. And this video is to show how I wear the Diva Dreads in my hair for performances. So I have actually several sets of Diva Dreads, but this is the set I'm going to use today. They're bulkier and they have these nice little beads in them. Love the Diva Dreads. They're absolutely wonderful. And then I'm also going to use one of the newer products to the Diva Dread line, which are these large braids. It's one of the newer things that she just started doing. These are absolutely wonderful. I absolutely love adding those to it. So I'm going to use those, and then instead of a headband, today I'm going to be using this scarf that I got from the ABC Trading Company. So this is just a regular old scarf, but it has these nifty coins hanging off of it, just randomly on the ends, as coins. So I'm going to use this as my headband today. And I also have some flowers that I'll be using for the hair garden portion. Normally I use different colors depending on what the costume is that I'm wearing. And this time around we're doing a performance that we're going to be wearing predominantly red. So I'm going to use red and pink. I only have the one red, but I have other pinks, and I have a purple flower I'm going to use also. And also the reason why I picked this, because it kind of has some purple and some reds in it, which my headband that I normally wear does not have red or purple in it. So that's the selections. Now, as you can see, I have kind of a little below the shoulder length naturally curly hair. Yes, this is naturally curly. I did shampoo yesterday and then brushed it real hard, which gives it this charming frizzed out look, which normally I don't like that look for everyday wear, but for wearing the dreads, it actually goes extremely well with the dreads. Makes them look authentic and real. So I don't use a brush, well, after I've brushed it to get it frizzy, I don't use a comb or a brush to gather it into the ponytail at the top of my head. I just use my fingers and bring it up. And I put this ponytail at the top a little ahead of what is considered officially the crown. So kind of forward slightly of what would be center of crown. And use my hair tie to secure it real good. And the last one loop that I'm going to do, I'm not going to pull my hair all the way through it. I'm going to leave it down a little bit so that I have this little pump knot up here. And even if that shows after I'm finished wrapping, it's really not going to be obvious of what it is. Blends well with it. If I wanted to really make it look more like a dread, I could have twisted it, but it really blends just fine with the dreads, even if you can see it. So I start with the big braids to ease up on, I mean, they're nice and big here so that you can just put it over your whole head and have it hanging down lower. And I do have a tendency to change my mind at the last minute of what I'm going to do. But I think I'm going to stick with my original plan today. So I'm going to double it up. This just lessens the number of times that I have to wrap it. I'm going to put it in the back to start with. And wrap it around my little pump knot until it's secure. And then I'm going to take the first one of the Diva Dreads and I'm going to put it, double it also. And I'm going to start from the front on that one. And just knot it in, keep twisting until it's secure. Second one, same thing. And this one's going to go in the back. Knotting it in, making it secure. And then you just take two from the back, and I'm going to cover the elastic with it, and then I just tuck it in taking 2 more from the back and go the other direction. And again, tuck it in. And I just keep going back and forth that way. One direction, the other one the opposite direction. Bring it over the top a little bit every now and then to try and cover the top portion. And I do that with some of the first ones that I'm wrapping, not the last ones, so that they'll be more secured by the other ones, by the ones in the front that I then wrap around. It's going to secure the ones that are that I'm putting over the top. That's a braid. I'm going to separate from the braids here. I've got 3 this time. I'm going to bring them around. Looking in the mirror and arranging however I want those to go. And I just tuck them in. You can use pins to secure them if you're worried that they're not going to be secure enough. I'm feeling through the braids to make sure I've got all of the dreads in there. They are. So I'm going to take 2 from this side, bring them around. I begin a little looser as I bring them across because I don't want to pull the whole bun to one side or the other. And then I go tighter here to snug them under there so that they'll hold. So it's looser here, so I can arrange them where I want. And then as I come around here, I've still got the 2 ends. I snug it, pull it tighter, and so I can tuck it up underneath. And then it's going to hold if you pull it in tighter. If you leave it loose, it won't hold. Speaking of which, I do different things every time. I think I'm going to leave a few hanging down. So that's going to be those. How many does that leave me? I have 5 to work with. Okay, so this I'm going to bring around. Same way, tucking it in. These are the ones I'm leaving down. Pull those back to where they were, make sure they stay in place. This needs to be a little tighter. Just kind of pull it across, tuck it in. And this will make a nice pattern kind of across the top. And then tuck this end in real tight. Now I'm going to work with the braids that are in the back here. I have 2 smaller ones and 1 large one. So I'm going to start with the 2 smaller ones. I'm going to bring this first one underneath because it'll give it a little lift, a little more swing when I'm dancing. So I want to pull this a little more snug, so I'm going to hold this in place so that it doesn't start becoming lopsided. And snug that in. This is also anchoring the other ones, the other dreads that have already been in there. Now I tuck this underneath. I tucked it under the braid. And from the other side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but now pulling from the other side. Again, snug, but not so snug that I'm pulling it off balance. And again, I'm going underneath. And bring this around, and I'm going to tuck it under the braids. Tucking it under all the braids. Now I just have the big one left. So this is my really decorative one. And this one, let me see if I like it over the top. I think over the top. Or do I like it better under? This one, I think I'm going to go under. Is my biggest and most decorative, so I'm going to kind of bring it up here. And then when I bring this one around, I'm going to tuck it the other direction because I want it to stay on top. I'm going to tuck it down underneath all of this. And then I have these that will remain loose, something to kind of be flop around. I only used one of these two in case you didn't notice. So now I'm going to put on the scarf. So I want these to show, so I'm going to see where is the front so that those are going to show. Now, this is really great if you're doing sword work because you can balance the sword right at the edge. Of course, if I was going to do a sword, I think I would have put it back a little bit further than this because the sword would be kind of to the front a little too much. So I'm going to wrap the scarf around. It's a long scarf. And I want to make sure it's not covering the braids anywhere. I'm not too concerned about it being down real far because I'm going to put my hair garden on here also. But I'm going to bring the next one down a little further so I'm covering my real hair in the back as I do this. You see, it came down further in the back. This one I'm going to bring back up because I want this kind of crisscross look in the front, but not so far up that I'm covering my braids. Okay, now I've come to the end and I'm going to tie these ends. If I didn't have the dreads hanging down on the right side, I would put this on the right side because ATS, we're presenting the right side to the audience. But since I did the dreads on the right side, I'm going to do this on the left side. Just tying it up there, letting it hang down a little lower over the ear. Pretty much every single time I do my hair, it looks different because I just try different ideas, different looks. Sometimes this portion that's coming over the top might be underneath. I have a regular, more traditional ATS headband that I wear most of the time. Not this. This is actually the first time I've worn this scarf for a performance. It's always different, always fun. And since red is the theme, I'm going to use the red flower first. And I just take a look and see where I want to put it. So I'm actually going to clip this into the scarf, not my hair. Usually I clip it into my hair because I'm wearing a headband, not a full scarf like I am today. But I'm going to clip this onto the scarf here. I really don't need to try. Usually what I do is use the flowers to cover my natural hair in the back as much as possible so that you don't see that the dreads don't go all the way to the scalp. But this works just fine since I'm covering it with the scarf. I don't need to make sure that I cover everything back there. And some of it has come loose. That's fine. I'm going to leave it down. Again, it just adds to looking like the dreads are real. And the next flower, I'm going to put a little lower, but still going through the scarf. Change direction, that one kind of coming up. Mostly I'm just going by feel since I can't see what I'm doing, so I'll turn my back here. Just feeling around, seeing where I want to put it. so they semi-overlap. My one purple one is going to be the next one. And then the last one. Might not even need the last one. I like to do odd numbers just because I'm odd. So I like odd numbers instead of even numbers. And I have 4 flowers, not 5. Heaven forbid I have even numbers. But I think that that's enough. It covers plenty. Gives me all the coverage I really want. So I think I'm going to go with just the 4 and not wear this 5th one. Now I have other hair doodads I can add at this point. I have this peacock that sometimes I'll add this right here. I think it's going to be added. So actually I'm going to take the dread and attach it to this center dread. It has a roach clip as the clasp on it. So I'm going to attach it to the center dread as far up under here as I can get it so that you don't see the roach clip. And then it's just part of the dreads, and it has there we go. Kind of like it there better. Of course, I'm not going to stay there and dancing and flailing around. So that is basically the whole thing. I'm done with the hair. Now all I have to do is add facial tattoos and a bindi, and I'll be all ready to go. Well, the rest of the costume, of course. So this is the hair today, and I hope that I said something that was helpful for pointers. Just experiment. Contact Diva Dreads to get your dreads, and if you can see her in person, it's really great because she can match your hair color very well. She's excellent at that. But if not, just look through the catalog and pick out some colors that you might want, depending on how you design it. I mean, today's style, you really see very little of my real hair color. So the fact that this matches my hair color really doesn't matter that much. It's pretty much all covered, except for this little bit down here, which if I was wearing dreads that were an entirely different color, I could tuck this up, pin that up, and not leave it hanging down so that you wouldn't even see that much of my natural hair color. So it doesn't have to match perfectly. Some of the other styles that I do need it to match in order for it to look real, authentic, like it's really dreads. I do need for the color to match, but for this particular style, it doesn't matter that the color doesn't match, even though it doesn't. So thanks for watching. I hope that you learned something helpful here, and I'll do more videos on other tribal dressing things. Thanks for watching. Bye.